are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. TGIF and all that. My goodness, it's been I want to say difficult week. It hasn't been difficult from the sense that we've had a hard time trading. It's been difficult from the sense that the markets have not been wanting to do a whole lot. All right, just a real quick reminder for those of you who are new to the room, what you're looking at here is the NASDAQ. On this particular screen, I have got the Hawk Scalper, top left corner, Falcon Swing Trader, top right, Eagle Trend Trader, bottom left, and the Raptor, bottom right. On my other monitor, I've got crude oil, and I've got the E-mini up there also. But I can certainly take a look at any market which is of interest to you. If there is something you'd like to see or if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll see if we can't manage to find a half-decent trade here somewhere. Okay, we just had the opening bell, and I'm not normally a fan of trading right out of the gate. This is the Hawk on the NASDAQ, and we do have a 4-arrow consolidation printing here on the Hawk. Now, the 4-arrow consolidation is the only signal I will take off of a yellow bar. And thank goodness it's moving the other way, so I don't need to actually think about taking this signal. I was reading a commentary just before the markets opened, and this particular trader was bemoaning the fact that the markets are numb to economic data. They're just rallying regardless of what the data situation is. They just keep on rallying, which was the case yesterday. I fully expected the NASDAQ to turn over a little bit, but it was not to be. So here on the Eagle, we're getting a little bit of perhaps a buying opportunity. Speaking of buyers, shoot a trend line below these lows, just see where it falls, and look at that. Falls right on the trend line. This is a red bar buy off of a hard edge bounce. I'm wondering whether this little hiccup up here is the test of the extreme and whether prices will head lower from here, or whether we're going to actually see the market bounce. So we do have the buy signal. I wonder if that's one I can dial down a bit. I bet you I can. All right, why don't we throw that in? Oops, hit the wrong button. It's not the most attractive trade, but what I'm looking at here is a possible test of the extreme. I'm going to show you something here in the Falcon, or pardon me, the Raptor, that's going to look a little bit different. See here on the Raptor, we've got this sort of thing going on. It looks a little bit more like maybe a bear flag, doesn't it? The Raptor much deeper into the cloud. And here the E-mini, of course, this has been the problem we've had for the last few days, is the stock market has been at odds with the NASDAQ. The NQ continuing to rally, whereas the stock market not. The stock market looking very soft. Here the band on our eagle has already turned over. You can see we're flashing a warning dot here for a possible sell every once in a while, but nothing's coming of it just yet. Look at this. Trade forecaster says that we are full on in scalp mode for about another 20 minutes, half an hour. And that pretty much sums things up for us. Here's the E-mini. We're getting a trend change signal on the Falcon. Oh, sorry, working on trend change signal. It looked like it was going to be a little bit closer there for a moment. So our trend line has changed color. We've got our up portion. Here comes the sellers, and we would be looking for the buyers to come back here, which they just ran away. So that's off of the table now. And now the E-mini coming back with a sell signal here on the Eagle and also one on the Hawk. Let's see if this is one that we can take advantage of. What's that going to cost us? Ooh, see, that's the fun trade in the E-mini. You get these huge risk amounts. But it is doable. So we might have a early trend change developing there. Looks like I can scrub my buying opportunity. And now on the NQ, we are getting a first micro-macro crossover to the downside. So first time in a little while that we've had the NQ and the stock market on the same side of the equation. And again, this is all very early. In fact, what I should do, well, we'll let this go. But what I should consider doing is rolling the risk amount down on that. Come on, get on down there. And good little hit and run out of the gate. Now, just out of curiosity, because I didn't have an opportunity to change my settings here to have a runner in play, I'll do that on the next one. Oh, look at that. That would have been nice to have a runner in there. But our E-mini trade tailing off very nicely. Here's the E-mini on the Eagle now. So we can certainly bring this one to break even. Come on, don't stop now. All right, we'll revisit that. Come on, sellers, get in there. If you were watching crude oil this morning, you had a nice opportunity also. The crude turned over. The market opened right about here somewhere. First micro macro cross, great little move lower, followed by a macro pullback. Fantastic. And this is where we are now. Not a bad session in the overnight for crude oil either. Crude oil and gold are two markets that you can trade almost any time of the day or night. So regardless what time zone you live in, it looks like there might be a little profit taking going on. Perhaps a retest of that support level. Come on, sellers. All right, macro pullback signal brewing here in the NQ. Oh, doggone it, Eric. A little bit too late getting on that one. Well, let's just see how that would follow through. And it looks like we would have just tagged our profit target there. So I took a little bit too long looking at that one. Here's now our Falcon tool showing us a late filter entry. You know I like these signals. These are strong signals, or they tend to be strong signals. I don't trust the NASDAQ. It's not the signal I'm concerned about, it's the NQ. So let's see, if I risk it above here, primary resistance, or primary support, I should say. So our signal is all in sync. We'll see whether or not we get a move lower from there. The Raptor also giving us our, well, actually our first signal occurred back here, our trend change signal. So now we're looking for a second opportunity to get into the Raptor. Okay. Remember with the Raptor, these signals go live the moment you put them on your chart. I'm actually going to want to, I want my stop a little bit further back. I want my stop closer to the hard edge here of the band. That's a little better. Yeah, let's go with... The reason is, of course, if the market brings us in at this point, and if this is in fact turning into a double pullback instead of a soft edge bounce, which is what it looks like at the moment, a soft edge bounce, I mean, I don't want to get stopped out if prices retrace back to the hard edge. So I guess what I'm saying is I want to leave myself an adequate stop. There goes the NQ again with its waffling nonsense. All right, so we have our Raptor trade in play. big deal is this support level right here. Right here. This is where the buyers stepped in before. Let's see what the sellers do this time. Come on. A little bit of buying pressure. Come on now. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Somebody dip your toe in the water. You know you want to. Oh, there's the buyers. Okay, you see how that bar is forming? That tells me that there is definitely some buying going on there. And if we can see the sellers break through the other side, we're going to start tripping up the buyers, and that should get us to our profit objectives. All right, so here comes that double pullback, which I really did not want to get involved in. Okay, so we know there's buyers down there. We know there should be sellers up here. Oops. Come on, sellers. There we go. Where are you? There should also be sellers around here. So this whole little region, we've got some active selling going on, or hopefully some active selling. All right, well, we'll throw this back on the shelf for now. Okay, so here comes the sellers. This is our last real attempt to recover this market, I think, in the NQ right now. If the sellers can't get their act together from here, then we will probably see the buyers take over and push the market higher. See, here's some of that buying pressure again. Coming in a little bit earlier. That's not really what I want to see. If anything, I would like to see the sellers force the market all the way back down there. Ah, yes, option expiration day today. Thanks, James. Yeah, that can cause a little bit of a mess in the markets. Come on. Let's just see you tag these buyers down here. You want to. You know you do. Come on. Oh, come on. At least it's a little bit more active than it has been. My goodness. All right. Well, the buyers and the sellers knocking each other about. Nobody's really showing the upper hand at the moment. Starting to introduce a lot more yellow bars here in our hawk. This is on our NQ, which would suggest a sideways type range, or is beginning to suggest a sideways range. Yeah, like James says, sure used to that this week, the sideways ranges. Okay, so now the buyers have made a little push again off of the lows. We'll see whether the sellers can push back. If the sellers push back, we should be all right. If the sellers walk away, well, then it's going to be game over. So we've had our double pullback into the hard edge now. Let's see, this is move 1, move 2. We'll see if they come out of there now with a more bearish bias. There's not really much else to watch. I was looking at crude oil. Crude oil's a little on the choppy side. We did get a couple solid signals out of crude this morning. Here's the hawk on crude oil. Another macro pullback signal here, another macro pullback signal here. I do get leery when I start to see too many macro pullbacks within a trend. Usually we only see two. Notice too how the legs seem to be getting a little bit shorter. That tells me that crude oil might be getting a little bit tired, may have made the move of the day, which crude has been doing lately right out of the open. It's been making an aggressive move and then kind of settles in for the rest of the session. So let's see, the open was up here, say at 52 down to 51. That's 100 ticks, $1,000. That seems to be the range for crude for most days, anywhere from $900 to $1,000. You see, we had a late filter entry signal here in crude just a few moments ago. Let's see, did that hit its profit objective? I think it might have. Yep, just hit the profit target. We had a trend line touch signal earlier, which gave us a little bit of heat, but also found its profit objective. Right there. So, a couple of very good trades in crude oil this morning. Certainly, if you were watching crude oil, I think your day would be done by now. If it wasn't for the trading room, I think my day would have been done. Our E-mini trade finished here where you see this yellow line on this little bit of a pullback. So that was our E-mini sell off of the hard edge bounce here on the Eagle. I think the markets do have a bearish tone to them today. It's just, are we going to be able to take advantage of it? Okay, folks, I'm going to be right back. I don't think we're going to miss anything. Hopefully, we're going to see this NQ head a little bit lower. All right, back in just a moment. I was afraid of that. The NASDAQ putting in a little bit of a rally here on our hawk. We're starting to generate first micro-macro cross signals as they challenge the top end of the trading range. It looks as though the sellers have walked away from the market. So if we get one more push lower here on the Raptor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to become very aggressive with my stop. Try to minimize my risk exposure here. They're not going to give me that chance. Oh well, it happens, unfortunately. Well, we'll see if we don't get an opportunity to perhaps get that back. Oh yeah, here they go. All right, well, what I'm waiting for here is some sort of reaction here to this trend line. I do think that the NQ may have gotten a little bit more bullish on us. And just looking for a buying opportunity. We had the first micro macro cross here. So we'll should see the market come down, retest this area now as support, and possibly come back with another buy signal. It's a similar look to what we're seeing here on the Falcon, where we have had the trend change. Now we're looking for the sellers to come back, and the market should come back with the buy signal. So essentially we're just waiting for everything to fall into place, all the pieces to come together. Problem is, I don't know how long we have to wait for that to happen. All right, come on. Where are you going? You got to give me a signal. Well, what do I tell you, folks? There's nothing going on. A little bit of a rally to the upside. Oh, well, it'll happen. It's just a matter of time, I suppose. All right, now we're getting warmer. All right, we're getting a little bit of conflict in signals again here. We're seeing the eagle giving us a green bar sell off of this reaction to the hard edge. And the falcon possibly working on a trend change signal, and the hawk here working on a macro pullback signal. So we've had to sit on our hands for a little bit, but it looks like we might get an opportunity to do something here yet. Now this is a little, well, whatever. I was going to say it's a little heavy for this market today, but I was going to dial down the risk amount for just a second. In fact, if they give me a moment here, I might try to throw a runner on, just in case there's a little bit of a move to the upside. But working on this macro pullback, looking to cover it below the lows, this swing low here. Now that we've broken outside of this range, of course, we're always looking for these opportunities for the market to come back, retest it, and then rally. So that's what I'm looking for right here. And hopefully we'll get enough out of this that we can test the extreme, maybe adjust our stops a little bit. And who knows? Might even rally back up here to the 44, 14, 15 area, somewhere near these highs. The opening highs, I believe. Oh no. Peter shares his pain. Peter says, good morning, Eric. Since it's slow, I will share my boo-boo of the week. I love that title, Peter. I might steal that. Peter says, I received perfect signals on Tuesday afternoon, placed 5 contracts on the E-mini. The market rallied and I'm up $600, sold for a profit, only to see that I was still in sim mode. Oh no. Oh, Peter, I feel for you. Oh well. You know, the good thing is if you did it once, you will do it again. I mean, make the profit, not trade in sim mode again. Oop, there we go. Get up there. Okay, probably time to adjust my stop. Oh, no time to adjust my stop. And what happened to my runner? Was that a little glitch? Oh shoot, I broke my software. I better make sure I don't have an open contract still. Oh. Yes, I believe I do. Okay. When you have an open trade, you need to be pretty careful about what you do with your trades. In fact, I'm going to flatten this right now. You see what's going on here, folks, is somehow when I was manually rolling my stop and I hit my profit target at the same time, I must have tripped something in the signal or in the programming itself. There was a boo-boo. I should have used the break-even button. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I still have a live order here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten everything rather than try to mess around with it. That way everything is good. I need to reapply my stop strategy or my trade manager. But if that ever happens to you, if all of a sudden everything disappears, just go ahead and either manually flatten your order, or if you only have the one order in play, just flatten everything. There's no point in trying to get cute. All right, I'll throw the Trade Manager now on my other tools. Okay. So now here on the Raptor, we're getting a buy signal. Our trend change has not occurred just yet, but hold on a second here. Don't run away on me just yet. Okay, now our band has just flipped over. I'm looking to buy above this high. Let's see, and there we go again. Come on, get up there. There we go. Hooray! Okay, let me show you how this unfolded, because this is a useful thing to keep in mind. It's a little bit more to do with the price structure. The Raptor did give us a signal just in time here, but I'm going to show you what it is I was looking at. We have this trend line that I shot across the highs. Now, you wouldn't think that the trend line is such a big deal, but believe me that there's a lot of traders that follow trend lines. And we saw that this trend line did give us a little bit of a reaction here, right? We also know that the sellers got overwhelmed right here. So the market traded through, broke the sellers here, broke the sellers here, broke the sellers here. So we had old support, which should have been new resistance. It was here. The sellers tried to sell. It was here. And it was here for a bar and a half. Okay. Then the buyers ran over the sellers. And we know that because we had buying here, and a little bit higher buying here. This was the bad news. In fact, in hindsight, what I should have done for the original trade, rather than leave my stop back here and hope that the sellers would recover, is I should have taken my lumps early. I should have got out maybe on this yellow bar. But that's something to make note of in my trading journal. So now we have the market rally up here, and it rallies up to the trend line. And I know that there's selling going on at the trend line because we have a series of bars coming down. But what happens is the market comes right back and gives us a buy signal. This is a signal that you can take a great deal of confidence in, because it's showing you, just like we were looking at with the hawk, with our, here's our resistance. That's this resistance line right here. We break through, we get the retest, and we rally. That's exactly what we're seeing here. Okay, so that was why I was anxious to get into this signal, because there was a very good chance, or I knew there was going to be a very good chance the market would try to rally from here, and it did. So something that you want to train yourself to look for, watch these swing points. Look to see where the buyers and sellers are. And when you break outside of a range, as we did here, wait for the sellers to tip their hand. And then if they lose control, as they did here, this whole test, retest type scenario, then you can expect a decent move going the other way. Because the reason this one accelerated so quickly is all the sellers from back here all the way through here, all these guys here, guess where their stops were? Their stops were heavy in here. They just stacked, really heavy. And that's why this market accelerated the way it did. When it finally tripped. So hooray for us, we had a chance actually to get in there and take advantage of a trade before it bolted on us. Oops. But very helpful little formation to keep an eye out for. So when you see, a significant resistance area yield, and then the market comes back, you get this little bit of a retest, get ready to buy. And of course, the opposite would be true in reverse. See, the macro pullback here on the hawk was a perfect example. It worked out textbook. We got our breakout. We got our, got our retest. And we got our buy. And there we go. Right? So high probability signal. That's a very high probability setup that you want to train yourself to be on the lookout for. Okay, now we're back in waiting mode. Jim says, I checked my positions. The sim, getting caught in sim mode happened to him a few times too. Oops. Yeah, it's happened to all of us, I think, but it always hurts worse the first time. seems to be the theme of late, eh? We have to wait a little bit for get another decent setup. Well, folks, I don't know if we're going to get another tradable signal here. I'm checking a few emails and stuff because there's nothing going on in the markets. Everything has gone dead flat. We'll give it a few more minutes, but I think we might close the room up and call it a weekend, early weekend. Maybe getting a 4-arrow consolidation here in the NQ. Even crude oil is flat. The E-mini is flat. You know what, guys? Let's do that. Let's just wrap up the room for the day. I don't think we're going to miss anything. If you are determined to trade this afternoon, I think we're going to see a little bit more to the upside, if anything. I'm not so sure that the sellers are going to be overly aggressive today, but that seems to have been the theme of late. All right, have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll catch up.